building,
It's a new building?
yeah,
Oh, I've been
yeah.
there for one time.
We took Avery through, and it didn't mean a lot to her, but it was
It's
fun.
fun, yeah.
See all our old toys, oh, we got.
There's
building
another
in
one.
there. Teacher toys and Lincoln Logs.
Lincoln Logs, yeah, I remember that.
There's I think it's by the, oh, what's the name of the gardens?
Hudson.
Hudson Gardens, no, not Hudson Gardens, the ones downtown, the Denver Botanical,
Oh,
they
by
have,
that.
they have a farm out down by Chatfield.
Oh, yeah.
And they have an old house full of all kinds of this old
Yes,
stuff.
yeah, that Littleton Farm, what they call
Yeah.
that?
No,
Yeah,
it's
where they
down by
have the maze,
Chatfield,
uh-huh.
it's down by Chatfield.
Where they have the maze. in the fall.
Oh, that, there's one there too.
Yeah,
There's one in Littleton, an old
That's-
farm.
that's the one.
That's
she
the one I
talking
was
about.
talking
Oh, that's the
about,
one you were
yeah.
talking about, yeah,
You can go in the barn and see the cows, or you can go out
Right.
and get the
yeah.
donkeys, or pigs.
That was a regular place when the granddaughters were younger.
Yeah, yeah, that's it.
Let's go.
We went for pumpkin patch time. Mhm.
You guys should all go to dinner somewhere sometime, don't you think? Should
Yeah.
get that
We
Really?
used to
every,
go for lunch.
We
every
used to do
fourth
lunch.
Friday, we should do lunch. I am so
We did
in.
that. We did
I
the
would
bucket
totally
list.
do lunch.
The bucket list.
Yeah,
I do.
Mhm.
you would do it again?
We would get music ready for Sunday.
Coming to a Friday near you. When are we gonna do it?
Yeah, right. Ad lib.
All right, we'll pull that off. We could do some other things too. It'd be kind of fun. We are in Revelation chapter 12. We made it really far last time.
Yes, we do.
And so we ended up in Revelation 12. And I started to write on the board the different features that we have in Revelation 12. So we started with 12, 1 to 6. The woman and the dragon. We have 12, 7 to 12 was the war in heaven that was lost. This great victory through Jesus. And you think of Holy Week and Ascension, I guess what some of the language in there, he was not strong enough. They lost their place in heaven. That accuser who leads the world astray hurled to the earth and his angels with him. They have overcome, right? The accuser's been hurled down, overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of their testimony. So the devil knows that his time is short and he's cast down to the earth. And now we're going to see some messes that he makes on the earth. So the woman and the dragon, the woman is the church, the son that the dragon wanted to devour. He did not devour, but escaped. So there's this war victorious by the blood of the Lamb over Satan in Christ. And now we've got the persecution of the church. So the woman flees to the desert, and the dragon pursues her and the rest of her offspring, which sounds a lot like Genesis 3. And I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your offspring and her offspring. He will crush your head, but you will strike his heel. So there's the dragon knows his time is short, and we're at verse 13, chapter 12, verse 13 to read about this. This takes us. So there's 3 parts to this chapter 12, and we're in part C today. This last one, 13 to 17. Anything else by way of review? Oops. By way of review that you wanted to do?
Just point out, I just noticed, and we read it last time, but they overcame, on 11, they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb. That sure makes the case for things like our crosses in front, of the church, that is where overcame him by that cross.
Yeah.
And churches that don't want to display, Christian churches that don't want to display it, are making a mistake.
Well, yeah, we're holding not some icon, not some piece of material that we could so venerate,
Right.
but the symbol of our hope and victory. I don't know how often you look at it. We got a sizable cross on that tower, don't we? There's a
Yes.
big cross standing on that tower. I wonder how tall it really is.
You mean up on outside?
Yeah, on this, have you noticed that? There's birds that land on it.
Yeah, but I always thought it was kind of weak.
Yeah,
Not-
well, it's thin, but
Thin,
it
yeah.
is, I'm sure if we put it on the ground, it probably is my wingspan. I
The
mean,
ori- the
those
original-
things
Really
up high, it takes a lot for something to look
big.
big up there.
The original architectural plans, we had like a 4-inch metal
Yeah. I thought so.
and, but they came and they said, we're not sure it's gonna hold that up there.
Yeah,
So they came down on it.
Well,
Well,
they
actually,
get
they came
awfully
down
heavy.
on it after it was put up
yeah,
and we raised it with them. Well, that's not as, as thick across
That's
that
all
would
right.
stand out,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, well,
Okay.
and then they said,
Oh,
it
it
wouldn't
wasn't
hold it,
for this.
and that kind of thing. But
yeah,
We bought it.
I'm not, yeah,
it's
Yeah.
great. There, it's still up. That's a
Right.
good part.
yeah.
There are some
yeah.
crosses on towers at Grace Church that had fallen off at
Oh, yeah.
different times. They had to be repaired, so watch your step. Suzanne.
Going back to B, War in Heaven, is that what transpired early in time of Genesis? When the devil was cast out of heaven?
I think if you were to put together what's happening by way of introduction here, the Old Testament period that leads to the birth of Christ, the birth of the Son that he would devour, and then kind of showing us this war in heaven would sort of be this pinnacle, this climactic, decisive moment of the defeat. And how does Jesus speak about his ministry and work? I've come to destroy the devil's work. And you have this climax of that destruction of sin and anything that would threaten God's people for the victory of the Son. I think that's what you could say here. So by his death, his resurrection, and his ascension, all is proof of his exaltation and winning of the war. This song comes out. In most of this is a song, isn't it? The war is over really fast, and the devil, this accuser, has been hurled down. His defeat is secured. And I'd say this is the pinnacle of Christ's work. And now you're going to have our New Testament era persecution of the woman in the desert. And so we'll talk about that. By the way, all of chapter 12, this whole thing we had finished our 7th trumpet. Remember how we went through 7 seals and we went through 7 trumpets? And now really we're starting a series of 7 visions. And again, this old handout has a big old line in it that as we start this, we're going to see the struggle between Christ and Satan in all of these visions. So from chapter 12 through 15, 7 visions play out. And we've got 1 in chapter 12 and 2. Well, if we get into chapter 13, we probably will today. There's 2 of them in there. And then 14 has 3. And a 7th vision leads us into the bowls in chapter 15.